Welcome to our first episode of Haunt Culture. Today we're going to talk about overcoming haunt obstacles.
Haunt culture is about haunt attractions of all kinds. Me and Brittany here have had years of experience in the haunt industry, and we want to share tips and tricks and some of the behind-the-scenes stories of what it's like working at haunts. Let's introduce ourselves. I am LeRoy. I worked in Scarowinds Halloween Haunt for 12 years. I've played roughly about 7 or 8 different characters. My favorite horror movie is probably Trick or Treat.
That's a good one. Haven't seen that one in a while, and I'll have to pick that one up again soon. Hello folks, I'm Brittany. I also worked at Scarowinds Haunt for, this is my 6th year since 2015. We'll go with that.
Oh.
Since 2015. I also did a quick stint at a home haunt the 2 years, my junior and senior year of high school.
And she was also a talent manager for Scarowinds.
Yeah, I did teach people how to be monsters. I keep forgetting about that. And my favorite horror movie would probably have to be, I'm a sucker for Chucky.
Chucky.
I do love a good Chucky.
My name's Chucky. Wanna play? Yeah!
Monster House is a close second. I know that one's not technically a horror movie, but it did freak me out when I was a kid.
Really?
Yes.
Were you scared of houses?
No, I wasn't scared of houses. I was scared of houses that were possessed by dead circus performers.
Oh, you know what? That is pretty scary. Circus people are scary.
Circus people are a little freaky. No offense if you're a circus performer. We love and appreciate the work that you do.
All right, and then of course we have to introduce our producer, Vincent.
Vincent, how rude of you. Can you not say hello? But Vincent will be acting as our on-set producer, so if you have any hate comments, any concerns about the content that we are sharing with you today, you can email Vincent here.
Yep, direct it to him.
Email pending.
Well, with that, let's get on to today's haunt topic. It's like a weird play on Hot Topic. Hot topic! So today we're going to talk about the challenges of haunt, but more specifically when you're assigned things, whether it be a maze you didn't really want, weird props, strange costumes, interesting makeup choices, as well as possibly undesirable characters. We're going to tell you our experience in having these and how to overcome it and embrace it rather than complain about it.
Because you never want to be a complainer, especially when you're being paid to scare people. Because it's the best job in the world, folks.
So we'll tackle into the first part of that with getting assigned to undesirable mazes and scare zones. It happens, especially if you're working in a large haunt. There's multiple different mazes and scare zones out there. Not everyone can be a chainsaw-wielding clown.
Now, before we move a little bit farther ahead, Leroy,
Oh.
I don't know what our viewers' experience is with Halloween haunts. Do we want to kind of explain the difference between what a maze and what a zone might be?
Ooh, that's a good point.
We're going to keep this educational. Vincent put in a cool animatronic there, or something.
Explosion!
Yeah! Leroy, what's a maze?
Well, a maze is an indoor attraction normally. Some can be outdoor. But it's the ones that you get in line for and you walk through at single file sometimes. Yeah, scare zones
Scare zones
are
an open-aired attraction with no designated path. Now, there's a designated path you obviously need to stay on, but it's not one room leads into the next. It's more of an open-air, open attraction. There's usually bigger things and taller people.
One other thing I'll mention too, our walk-around characters at Scarowinds, we called them Scare Force, so you might hear us mention that. These were characters that could walk around freely around the park to scare you in between the scare zones and mazes. Now that we have told you exactly what those two are, when you go into a haunt, you get assigned a maze or scare zone. You don't get to pick where more often than not. I don't know how some other haunts do it, but I can tell you, Cedar Fair parks with their Halloween events, you don't really get to choose. And this is something I've definitely seen, and I've had this problem before. I get put in something I didn't ask for, and I don't really want to be in.
Yep.
You know, as an actor, it's better to take on challenges and really test yourself and what you can do in these different roles. So, an example of that was my second year at Scarowinds. I wanted to be a clown, just like everyone did. I wanted to be in The Last Laugh, which was the clown maze back in 2009 at Scarowinds. Yeah, I really wanted to be in the clown maze. I put that as my preference on my rehire availability and all the stuff you had to fill out. You'd get 3, and I think I put Last Laugh like 2 or 3 times, because they were always like, if you put it more, you're more likely to get it. Which I'm like, that's not a thing. So I ended up getting put in Playground. It was the new
Playground?
Yeah, I was like, what? Playground? I mean, it was cool because it was new. Didn't know what it was going to be.
We love a new area.
But I wanted to be a clown.
Yeah.
It ended up being a great choice. I really enjoyed that season. Had a good time. I'll go more into it later. But the next year, once again, I tried to be in Last Laugh again. Did the exact same thing. Got the exact same result. Back in
I
Playground.
was going to say, they put you back in Playground?
Yeah.
That's a rarity, too. You don't often get put in the same place twice. That must mean you were really good at your job, LeRoy.
I was really good at being an annoying kid. Then my third year, though, I was all in it because I loved Playground. I wanted to be back in Playground. They put me there. I was happy with it. And then it turned out to be my best year there. They liked my character so much, they asked me to be on Scare Force the next year. I got to audition for that. So I got to be a walk-around character after that. So you never know.
The dream.
So that's my experience with embracing something you didn't want. Do you have a experience?
My first year in leadership at Scarowinds, I had been an actor for 3 years up to this point, and this was the first year that I was a leader. So I was stepping in to this leadership role. And the wonderful thing about Scarowinds this year, Scarowinds specifically this year, was the talent managers were able to dress up in costumes to be able to assist their monsters with scares, which is this wonderful, unique experience as a leader to be able to talk with your monsters without breaking that I'm in a bright yellow shirt and I'm telling you what to do, monster. It adds a little bit more of that fourth wall. And I was very excited. It was my first season. I was going to work with an experienced manager. I was so excited to learn the ropes of leadership and put some teaching skills to the test because I was in school to be a teacher. And I get placed in the Hollow. Now, those of us who work at Scarowinds know everybody's not a huge fan of the Hollow. What is the Hollow, you might be asking? Pumpkin people.
Pumpkin people?
Pumpkin people. Pumpkin masks, lots of vines. Everybody basically looked like pilgrims. I was not stoked. I was like, this is my first year in leadership. I really don't want to do this. I have to be dressed up as a pumpkin person this year, as well as figure out how to teach these monsters how to be pumpkin people. I carve pumpkin and eat pumpkin seeds. I don't know how to help these people. But through wonderful and amazing collaboration with my fellow we came up with a fantastic storyline. So through that wonderful collaboration and the awesome work of my monsters, we were able to overcome that challenge because most of my monsters also did not want to be in that area. When you're working with an entire group of people who don't really want to be there, it was challenging. But we overcame it and we had a really awesome year. And wasn't my favorite year as leadership, but it sure was a memorable one.
There you go. Well, this was kind of the rule of thumb. It's changed now, I believe, at Scarowinds, but it's kind of like, give it a weekend or two, see how you feel. I mean, don't expect that, okay, well, I don't like it, can I change? No.
No.
But give it a chance. Just give it a chance. What was that? We're going to talk about getting assigned strange props. Being a haunt actor, there's a very good chance you're going to be given a prop. Definitely, one of the weirdest props I got is when I was the serial killer of Playground. Yes, they wanted me to walk around with 2 naked Barbie dolls.
Why?
I don't know. Now, I was a college freshman who did not have great confidence and was very embarrassed to be walking around with Barbie dolls in my hands all night. I was really having a problem with it. I was talking to my supervisor about it. I had this friend that was in the scare zone working with me, and he had an idea. He okayed it with the manager. At least he thought he did. More on that in a minute. But he had the idea to burn up the dolls to make them a little creepier, which made more sense to me.
Why would it not?
So he took his lighter and burned up these Barbie dolls. They were very disfigured. It was way cooler.
Of course.
Well, it turned out later he got in trouble for it because they're like, oh, we can't use these again. Yeah, you can.
Yeah. I'm sure those naked burnt up Barbie dolls are taped to a wall in one of those mazes.
Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty sure I've seen naked burnt Barbie dolls somewhere in that
Maybe.
theme park.
I remember I did name them. I don't remember what they were. It was so long ago. But yeah, I took in, and I had fun with it. I think I had conversations with them. It was so much fun. Strange costumes. Weird costumes. Yeah, you also don't get to pick the costume you have.
Absolutely not.
And you really have no idea what you're going to be getting. Do you have any strange costumes?
Not particularly strange costume, more adapting to something that I was uncomfortable in. Which is another thing that leads into being a haunt actor. Another year as leadership, this was the year that LeRoy and I worked together. We were the managers of the vampires, of all people. And for those of you who don't know me personally, I'm a big lady. I'm not a Barbie doll, I'm not a stick figure. So when I was placed into the sexy vampires, I was immediately intimidated. And I was like, what monstrosity are they going to throw me in? And it was a monstrosity. LeRoy, I don't know if you remember it, but it was a black skirt that was high-low that I was supposed to wear to the side. So it was short on one side and long on the other. I did not wear it like that. I wore it high in the front, low in the back. And this mesh monstrosity of a tank top with lace that barely fit. Like, put it over and it barely covers my tummy. So I'm wearing like a tank top plus this god-awful, like, itchy, lacy t-shirt thing that barely fits me. I'm in a leadership position. I have to keep my head on. I have to keep cool. I have to pretend like everything is okay. But it is not uncommon for haunt actors to feel uncomfortable in costumes that they have been given. The easiest way to overcome it is just play a character. That's really all it is. Find a character that fits into the costume that you are wearing, and just get over it. 30 minutes into the first night, I already forgot what I was wearing because there was so much stuff happening. And you just adapt and you overcome, and thankfully as the season went on, the costume stretched and it was less uncomfortable to wear. Even if you have body issues, you're not always going to get put in the best costume, the fanciest costume. They're not always going to have costumes that fit everybody. And that goes for really, really tiny people and plus-size people. So you might just get thrown one piece of clothing and they tell you to go with it. And you just go with it.
Costumes don't make the monsters. Makeup, props, they don't make the monster. It's the person who is the monster that makes it.
You got any fun costume stories, LeRoy?
Okay.
Mine were all boring costumes.
Well, being in the playground, I got some pretty interesting stuff. I'll show you some pictures. So, the first year I was in playground, they assigned me to be the band geek. So, originally I was supposed to... They were kind of still figuring out the concept of Playground, and I don't think they ever really figured it out.
No.
The story was ever changing there. So, I was originally supposed to have, like, instruments jammed through me. It was going to be, like, prosthetics. I was going to have, like, a trumpet or something. Maybe a drumstick through my head. It sounded really cool. I was excited for it. That never happened. I only got the costume. And the costume... Basically, I had this costume, and I'm not exaggerating, like 10, 50 times a night, I would get called Michael Jackson. It looked like something that Michael Jackson wore.
Oh my God, you are Michael Jackson! You're also walking like Michael Jackson, so that's also a choice that you made.
I was not. I had shoulder pads, okay?
Oh, okay.
And I had a tambourine. Does Michael Jackson play a tambourine? So that was really, really frustrating. It's a common thing with Haunt. People will try to compare you to something to make you less scary. Just a tactic to not be scared. Although mine was pretty obviously looking like Michael Jackson. I did get Sgt. Pepper's one night.
Oh, I love that.
That was random. But yeah, that was a very difficult thing to overcome. But even though I got a billion Michael Jackson jokes, I scared a lot of people with my little tambourine.
Mm-hmm.
But that was definitely the most challenging character to do. And I was still kind of finding my confidence. I was a senior in high school. And just finding my way as a Haunt actor. Still a Playground. My next year, I was the serial killer, as mentioned. And then the following year, which was one of my favorite seasons, I was Schoolboy in Playground.
Schoolboy!
And all they gave me was a turquoise polo shirt and a purple sweater vest. I was not happy. I'm like, a sweater vest?
Sweater vests are the best.
I was not happy about it, but then my friend, once again Kayla, she was schoolgirl, and we were kind of helping develop our characters, and she was, she was a bestie. She kind of was just like, it's not a big deal. Just work with it. And she was right. And it turned out to be my favorite character I ever played. Jack Barlow was his name.
Aw, that's the beginnings of Jack.
Yes.
Aw.
Jack Barlow. And Kayla was Blair Barlow. So that is where that began. That was the funnest season. I forgot about that sweater vest. Real quick. Didn't matter. I had fun.
When you develop a fun, engaging character, nothing else matters.
Mm-hmm. Well, now, moving on to a hot topic. Makeup!
Makeup!
You don't get to choose your makeup either. And sometimes neither do your makeup artists. They're kind of assigned to... They're limited to what they can do.
Yep.
Some characters need certain things. So the story of the maze or scare zone makes sense.
So, I kind of knew what I was getting into when I was assigned to this character. This was my second year at Scarowinds, and this was my first year working in a skeleton key. Now, Scarowinds have these really cool things called skeleton keys, where it was a one-on-one experience in all of our scare zones, because with a skeleton key, you could skip the line at the mazes, and you got a personalized one-on-one show in each of the zones. That year, I was in Playground, one of my favorite years, and I played a character called Pooh Girl. Insert poop emoji here, Vincent. Right over your face. Naturally, I didn't really know what to expect. When I went in for the audition, they had me read a script for Pooh Girl, and it was disgusting, and I loved it. This character, basically, the whole premise of her show was she was mourning the death of her dear Kibbles, her cats, that had fallen into the garbage disposal. And to mourn him, she saved his litter box and would eat the cat's poop. Hence the name Pooh Girl. So, the first dry run that we did, first time I was ever in makeup, obviously I wear glasses, so I have to take those off when I get my makeup done, and I had no idea what I looked like, and I left, and all of my friends were like, "What is on your face?" And it's just streaks of brown Vaseline all over my face. We went through trial and error this season. We did latex with brown paint. We did airbrush with brown paint. We did Vaseline with brown paint. That was the worst. Because it got on Monica. Got on Monica's yellow shirt and she was not happy about it. It was really bad. Like, me and the makeup artist got yelled at. They were like, no more Vaseline. Because it looked cool. It looked wet. It looked like I was eating poop. But we couldn't use it anymore because it was very gross and disgusting. So I immediately was mortified. I did not think they were going to put poop all over my face. They gave me teeth stain to where it looked like I had been eating poop. I had rotten teeth, and I was like, what? Thankfully, with the Skeleton Keys, most of them had a scripted story that you followed, so it wasn't like I had to come up with all of my character attributes on my own. It was scripted, but just overcoming the fact that I was walking around this theme park where thousands and thousands of people came through with poop on my face, it took a little getting used to. And I was dressed in this cute little schoolgirl, little like PJ dress thing. Like, I couldn't take myself seriously, and my friends couldn't take me seriously, and sometimes the guests wouldn't take me seriously because they were like, what's that on your face? And would like try to poke it, and I was like, this is like my prized possession, like, don't touch Kibble's poop. Like, it was strange and weird, and you don't expect to be given a character that has literal poop on their face. But for that particular character, it added to the character, it added to the story, it grossed people out, which was the whole point of that Skeleton Key in general. So by the end of the season, Pooh Girl and I were buddies, and I was very excited. My wonderful, awesome makeup artist that year, Abby, knocked it out of the park every single night. Got some super cool stuff. Abby and Chris.
Another fun example, I would say, is another person I worked with. He was one of the people that inspired me as a haunt actor because he just took whatever he had. He didn't care what he looked like. He would go out and just scare the mess out of people. And one great example of that, he was the scientist kid in Playground one year. A makeup artist, for whatever reason, drew half of a strawberry on his forehead.
The scientist kid had a strawberry on his face?
Yes. A giant, like, his forehead was decorated like a strawberry, like right here.
Was it supposed to be a burn?
No. It was supposed to be a strawberry. I think they had one of the, like, face painters from the parks stepping in, because they drew, like, cute things on other people that were in the playground. And I think he unfortunately got that strawberry head.
No.
Now, most people would be like, absolutely not. I am not a strawberry. I'm a monster. He didn't give two shits. He owned it, and he scared people being a strawberry.
I love it.
Like,
good for him.
Oh yeah.
I would have loved to be there and experience a strawberry scaring.
My buddy Evan, shout out.
Shout out to you, Evan, and your strawberry. And
Yes.
whatever makeup artist put that strawberry on his face.
Yeah. Kind of going back on what I mentioned earlier about your makeup artists out there. Shout out to all of them. Incredible, talented people.
Woo.
Don't tell them what they need to do.
Because
They
they're going to say, thanks, and then not do that.
Yeah. They have been through a lot of rigorous training. They know what each zone and maze are supposed to have. They're expected to do this with probably a good bit of pressure. The thing is to kind of make a relationship with your makeup artists. Just be cool, let them do their thing, and especially, if you just let them go at it, they can get real creative. Y'all can eventually work together to create some really cool makeup. So be nice to your makeup artists, and they'll be nice to you.
Yes.
I think we got one more, and we've kind of already talked about it a bit, but getting assigned characters that aren't great.
Or characters that you have no idea what to do with.
That's a better way of putting it. Schoolboy, aka Jack Barlow, was one of those characters for me. I had no idea. I had a purple sweater vest. What am I going to do with this? Well, thankfully, I had somebody I partnered with, my friend Kayla. We spent a rigorous amount of time researching and creating this wild backstory about the Barlows, their family, why they are the way they are, and we ended up creating such great characters, we were asked to audition for Scare Force the following year. It just goes to show it does help to have a cool co-monster to bounce ideas off of, whether your characters match or not. It's kind of good to talk to each other to get ideas going and flowing.
Absolutely. My second year working in a Skeleton Key, I was given the Riddle Master. The Riddle Master was just the Riddle Master. There was no distinguishing characteristic about this lady. For whatever reason, most of the time my makeup was I was an old lady. For whatever reason. So that was a very difficult character because my outfit was just a plain, like, plum colored dress. I looked like a pilgrim. Can't get away from the pilgrims. And the script was she just gave a lot of different riddles, so it was very hard to create a character with a plum dress, a bunch of riddles, and some Bean Boozled jelly beans. And a very vague script, because most of that script was the riddles, so I had to come up with them myself. So that character was very difficult because I was by myself. Sometimes in a Skeleton Key you got a partner, most times you were by yourself. And this was unfortunately one of those cases where I was by myself, and I was like, I have no clue what to do with this character. So I eventually found a spoon, a wooden spoon, hidden in the confines of my Riddle Master house, and that spoon became my bestie. And I used that spoon to enunciate every single word that I said, and she became a very aggressive storyteller, which she ended up being a fantastic and fun and hilarious character to play because she was just so mad. There was a giant animatronic. If you've ever been to Scarowinds, you have probably seen the standing troll. He farts all the time. He eventually became my 7th ex-husband, Harold. So I would come out of my cottage and just yell at the giant animatronic that was going off behind my house when I had no guests.
I love that so much.
It was a lot of fun. And then when I wasn't in my box, I had, like Leroy said, it's really great to get to know your coworkers and work with your coworkers, because sometimes haunt acting is boring. There's not always 7 million people walking through your park. We don't work in Halloween horror nights here, people.
Oh, man.
So we don't have tons of people walking through our streets every single night. So it's fun to build relationships between your characters, to be like, hey, you old hag, I told you to get off my property. I've been here longer than you have. Get on out of here, you old riddle master. And it's just passes the time quicker. It helps you build your character, and it puts you in situations so that if that happens between you and your co-monster, and then it comes up and it happens with a guest, you know how to handle that situation. And I was able to create a fun, interesting character that year. She wasn't my favorite character to play, but definitely my favorite character to interact with other characters as, especially Harold.
I love Harold so much. That is amazing.
And like the door was not, because like I would come out the door and I had to like jump up on the like seats to be like, shut up, Harold, and he'd just be going on like farting and burping, and I'm like, shut up.
Oh man,
it's funny.
That's a really good point. I mean, whether you're in a maze or scare zone, you're gonna have a dummy or an animatronic. That's a great thing to play around with.
Despite all of these challenges that we have talked about here today, Leroy, makeup, costume, location, characters, we were still able to create fantastic scares, fantastic memories, and a fantastic work environment by overcoming these challenges.
Yes.
If you have ever encountered any sort of challenge in your haunt, whether it be a home haunt or another big chain haunted attraction, let us know down in the comments. We would love to hear about your experiences.
Absolutely.
And any tips and tricks that you have come up with throughout the years.
So we want to hear the other experiences people have had. Also, I think we have come to the end of our first haunt culture. So with that, please let us know, what do you want to hear us talk about? What in the haunt industry or different haunts you'd like us to talk about or review?
If you happen to own or operate a haunt in the North or South Carolina area and you would like us to come check out your haunt, let us know. We would love to come check out haunts. We love going to different haunts. We love experiencing different Halloween and spooky things. I think it would be fun, just spitballing here, Leroy. We could go and do a Spirit Halloween 2022 review and talk about the fun things within the Spirit Halloween industry this year.
So please, if you want to see more haunt videos, subscribe and hit that bell notification so you don't miss another haunt culture.
Thanks for checking out this first episode of Haunt Culture. We'll see you in the next video, and don't forget to keep it spooky.